Welcome to Attackett Adventures Truck and Car Series. Again, we're back the next day, and I've been trying to figure out this puller. The main thing about this puller here was I couldn't get it to get on the other side of the nut, and I figured out that if you tap it, you stick it on a good rock or something and tap this in, that you could get it to go backwards the way that I need it. I may show you at the end, but anyways, I got it bolted to the damper, and I'm holding this right here. I'm making sure that everything was flat, and it looks pretty flat, and it looks like this rod is pushing on the tip of the crankshaft on the end here. So I'm going to turn this clockwise, and I don't know how much pressure it's going to be, but for that, it says that you have to wear glasses, because I don't know. You see, I got my glasses, and I don't know how much of a risk this will be. If something breaks, you don't want it to permanently damage your eyeball. And my dog there is playing like a little game over there. They say that you'll hear this thing let loose when it does. It's just coming off of its press state. When it actually moves, it should make a popping sound. I had this thing set on 0 and the motor started turning, so I'm going to demonstrate here once I get the cover off how to line everything back. All the 2 dots are going to go back to lining up. But I can definitely tell this puller is working right now. I'm seeing the end of the crankshaft. I did order a new tonneau cover, and it's going to come with even a water pump gasket, a spare one, so that's going to come in handy for the summer when I did do the Crown Vic. And I'm hoping that I could just clean this cover up and use it on the 302, because I'll be changing that timing chain over there. And I'm glad that you helped me figure out that it wasn't on camera, but I had to figure this out with Kim, how to do this, how to get everything to line up, and we got it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Look at this. It's just popping it right out. I didn't hear that popping sound that some of those videos were talking about. Some kind of rubber, but I guess they stuck some gasket maker in there. That's what that was. I was hoping that it wasn't a metal flake.
Yeah.
So we're good. Now next thing to do, that's your damper. See, it just rides on that keyway, and that was pushing everything out, and you got to clean this up, obviously. So I'm going to take this back off and unloosen my timing cover, pop it off, and hopefully before the sun goes down I'll get this timing cover back on and start putting my timing
on.
Yeah, we'll start putting the damper back on and we'll show you how. Well, yeah, we got the camera running. I did say that what you were helping me out with is this part right here. Since it's so new, it had some kind of fitment issue. So obviously, I can get that off. 5/8. We'll worry about that part later. But anyways, this thing wouldn't let me reverse. So all you have to do, if I have a hammer, just give it a little persuasion right there. If you miss it, I could not get that thing to reverse. See this, that makes everything run smooth. Now that's for pulling. For putting it back on, I have to change this tip. And look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you screw it into the end of the crank, which it looks like it's mushrooming a little bit, that's a lot of pressure. That's why I had the safety glasses on.
Yeah.
Look what it was doing to that. It was getting ready to fail on me, but it didn't. It'll pull. It's going to be able to pull that 302 timing, no problem.
So we'll stop right here for a minute.
Yeah, we can. Well, just going to tell you before somebody gets hurt. Just wanted to tell you about that because, like I said, that was almost one day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to tear it up because I want to keep using it. You know, and I don't. And the first thing they tell you, you can order replacement parts, and I'm thinking, I've broke these things before, and look at that, it was starting to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been because when we started, this had a gap. When I had this backwards, it was doing that.
Or it might be because it's made in Taiwan.
And that might have been enough to cause it to mushroom because I didn't know that I had to force it in there. But I know now. You can see the two dots are lining up. Make sure it's all the way on. Okay. I wish it was more perfect. But I remember they said to make it perfectly straight, and this appears to be off one. I think they said you could turn this, and I'm pretty sure that nothing has changed. it's not going to change the timing. I think that's right where it needs to be. So next I'm going to put my bolt back on, and I should clean this up. And so anyways, I'm gonna have to check my book and torque this this cam. Bolt. The reason I put these on, this used to run the mechanical fuel pump, but they still put them on. Okay, I was looking in this, this is the Haynes. I kept calling it Chilton. If it was Chilton, I'd be able to find what I'm looking for. Haynes. So I went on Google. This is called a cam sprocket. Cam sprocket, timing sprocket. So once it's installed like that, hopefully this thing don't turn over, but it's okay. This thing's not going to slip. It's at this point everything is married together. So I'm going to just turn this over to, or I'm going to do my best, put this over to 42 foot-pounds. Which, like I said, it shouldn't turn the motor over, but yeah, I'm at it now. A little bit extra. Don't want it coming off. That would not be good if it comes off. So that's your timing chain. I took an air gun and I cleaned out every hole, and I took brake clean and I sprayed it. Of course, I got a bunch of it down in the oil, but I'm gonna, at this time, I'm gonna drain the oil because I've got fresh oil anyway. Since I dropped a bunch of gasket and everything else in that pan, and the brake clean and everything, I'm just going to trash that oil. I think there's antifreeze that spilled into the pan, because you see it's all open and everything anyway. So I'm thinking that it got contaminated with this, the passages for that. Nothing I can do about the gasket, but I'm going to drop the oil out. Then I'm going to take some fresh, clean oil, and I'm gonna pour onto this chain. Then I'm going to install the cover and put the damper back on. And put the thermostat, put the cover back on, install the radiator.
Yeah, it's been a harder removal than it has been putting probably back on. It's going to be easier going on than coming off.
Well, and like I said,
we've been, how many weeks? 3 or 4?
And like I said, when my cover bolts are going to be 15 foot-pounds for the timing cover. The damper is 70 to 90. I had one video say 120. But I want to save some of the video for when I put the damper on. This part here should be easy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like me, if you're watching this video, you know, if you're like me, you probably have to watch maybe 4 or 5 videos just everybody's at different at different scenarios too. I mean, you might not have an air gun, so you have to take off the dampers the way we showed you. I didn't have an air gun, but I thought it'd be a good idea because I have to do my Crown Vic this summer, and I don't want to keep taking off a damper with that method, but it works perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could easily do it backwards and strip that crankshaft thread out, and if you do that, you'd be putting a crankshaft in.
Yeah.
My luck, I don't know how to cut threads or nothing like that.
So hit the dislike button if you've gotten this far.
There you go. Yeah.
And by the way, I laughed because when I was reviewing the video, I think Bud looks like a brown Teletubby.
Yeah.
in the thing. All right.
That's the Pocky Chip challenge right there. It causes bloating.
No, that's just your stomach getting bigger.
Well, I got one on this hammer. You couldn't see the scale, could you?
No, just the going in.
It was over 100 pounds.
Was it?
It shouldn't have came out. Like I said, I don't know why this one is so distorted, but again, it fits in there. It's the same size. All it is just to keep the time and chain cover. From what I could tell, all it does is just guide everything in. It gives it support. I have no idea how it got destroyed. I don't think I did it, but and I'll just be real careful I don't knock one of them out. Okay, so dry the metal off. Without a doubt, pulling this off like this, if you're just doing a water pump, you don't have to change the oil. But I got a bunch of stuff down in there. You seen all the gasket and the antifreeze? Pretty sure I seen the antifreeze coming out of my oil.
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Yeah. And anyways, I think the next thing that we cut to, you're going to see all this put together. I mean, unless you think we should red roll it.
No, we'll clip. We got to because can't
I feel like I have to get this. I got to get this done, and if I keep,
we can't keep showing everything because it'll bore them anyway. So basically you showed the hard parts where everything was stumping you to get to the point you are now, basically putting everything back on.
Yeah.
But this is like a hobby for us anyways, because we're always working on cars because you don't like taking it to the service people because we've had too many people mess up things. So this is the reason why we do this. You were just saying that.
Well,
so I just repeated it to them.
If you get
so instead of it costing,
at least you know. I mean, if it's interesting to some people to just watch videos,
yeah.
Which I don't think that it's that interesting.
But instead of costing like thousands of dollars, it costs us maybe $100 or $200.
Right. If you got this in your driveway, you have to figure out what's next. YouTube is a good way to keep going.
Yeah.
I had to go on YouTube just in order to see how to do the pin.
Yeah.
When I looked in the book, there was no pictures. There was no real pictures of the dowel pins.
Mhm.
But just watching people's videos, now you know it. they're right there at the very bottom of that cover. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was important to show you. And I just took like an aluminum drift punch, and I might tap it in a little bit harder too, so that it'll to give them a place. I mean, it moves. I don't think it's gonna hurt nothing. They sit there and spin. I'm not gonna worry about them. They can be in the cover or in the block. They'll stop right there, wherever they're at. But yeah, I think we did a pretty good thing here, because the timing chain was wore out. The water pump was fine, but I was changing the radiator because it sprung a small leak, and we got winter almost over. Like, I could have drove it for a couple more months, but we got winter coming to an end here pretty soon.
But you wanted to do it all, so you don't have to keep taking something off to get to the other thing and then to the other thing. You know, it's like
Right.
it's a chain of events. Instead of a timing chain, it's a chain of events. It can leave you stranded on the side of the road.
If it was up to me, I would change the camshaft at this point, because it's right there.
Yeah.
But to get to the camshaft, I got to take the rest of the motor apart. I don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my corner gasket. Just gonna put a little dab on here, just because we cut the one close to the edge of the block. You can see this little tag right here. It slips underneath that seal like that. So I'm gonna actually just put a dab on there. This is a lot, but so that's the way that goes. And your dowel pins are gonna sit on there, and I think one person put a light coat on the timer cover itself, and what I did, instead of putting it on this, I just went around the two places where the water passages go through the cover. So I ran two passes around on those sides, and now I'm gonna push this back in. So, that's why this is drawn, so that I don't mix them up. Well, you can't put the pointer in. You couldn't put this in first because the timing cover is not lined up. So then I realized our dowel pin that I destroyed taking it off, it must have been me. That wasn't somebody did that. That was the damage I did. So I'm leaving it off. We get all the bolts on there. I'm thinking that one dowel pin is gonna be enough. I'm putting anti-seize. And now I can do these two. That's what my problem was. The one bolt it was actually needed anti-seize way up here, but I'm putting it on the ends. And it was the one going to the water pump anyways. Definitely I'm gonna put some anti-seize all over that one. And this is lube, and it's good. It's heat resistant. So, yeah, I took that dowel pin and I chucked it. So. And it's not something that you can buy. I tried to buy one, and you know, for these longer, 13. Yeah. Hopefully this, when I put the damper on, I don't hit this, bend it. The idea of those dowel pins, they're kind of important. So it's not going to give me this line up over on this side like I wanted. So the next I got these 6. Well, one of them's still in the pan. I couldn't even get it off because the frame's blocking it. But I've got these 6 here. That go down into the bottom of the cover. And next we'll be doing water pump.
So now we're getting the radiator back in. Since it all started with the radiator, I'm showing you that's going in right now. So we're almost done.